Hi, it's Wednesday. I'm Miss Mary, Storytime Programmer with the Faulkner County Library in Conway, Arkansas, and today we are reading chapters 5 and 6 of Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library by Chris Grabenstein. I am in my backyard right now. It is finally starting to warm up, although I still have my scarf on from earlier this morning. So you probably hear some birds and cars and maybe some people working in their yards, but hopefully it won't be too distracting. All right, here we go. Chapter 5. Eating lunch in the cafeteria, Kyle stared at his wilted fish sticks, wishing he could pull a magic take another turn card out of thin air. I blew it, he mumbled. Yep, Akemi agreed. You basically did. Can you imagine how awesome that new library's going to be? If Mr. Lemoncello and his Imagination Factory guys had anything to do with it? Yes, I can. And I'm kind of hoping I get to see it too. After all, I wrote a real essay, not one sentence about balloons. Thanks. Rub it in. Akemi eased up a little. Hey, Kyle, when you're playing a game like Sorry and you get bumped back 3 spaces, do you usually quit? No. If I get bumped, I play harder because I know I need to find a way to get back to those I need to find a way to get back those 3 spaces and pull ahead of the pack. Hey, guys! Miguel Fernandez carried his tray over to join Kyle and Akemi. He was being followed by a kid with spiky hair and glasses the size of welder's goggles. You two know Andrew Peckelman, right? Hey, said Kyle and Akemi. Hello. Andrew is one of my top library aides, said Miguel. Cool, said Akemi. Mrs. Youngins, the librarian, just confirmed that Mr. Lemoncello is the top secret benefactor who donated all the money to build the new public library. $500 million! She heard it on NPR, added Peckelman, who more or less talked through his nose. So we did some primary source research on Mr. Lemoncello and his connection to Alexandriaville. What'd you find out? Asked Kyle. First off, said Miguel, he was born here. He had 9 brothers and sisters, added Andrew. All of them crammed into a tiny apartment with only 1 bathroom over in Little Italy, said Kyle. And, said Pickelman, sounded like he wanted to one-up Miguel, he loved the old public library down on Market Street. He used to go there when he was a kid and needed a quiet place to think and doodle his ideas. And get this, said Miguel eagerly. Mrs. Tobin, the librarian back then, took an interest in little Luigi, even though he was just, a kid like us. She kept the library open late some nights and let him borrow junk from her desk or her purse, thimbles and thumbtacks and glue bottles, even red Barbie doll boots, stuff he used for game pieces so he could map out his first ideas on a library table. Then, Andrew jumped in. Then Mrs. Tobin took Mr. Lemoncello's sketch for Family Frenzy home to her husband, who ran a print shop. They signed some papers, created a company, and within a couple of years they were all millionaires. But Miguel had the last word. Now, of course, Mr. Lemoncello is a bazillionaire. What are you 4 nerds so excited about? Said Haley Daly as she walks past with the gaggle of popular girls in her royal court. Haley was the princess of the 7th grade. Blonde hair, blue eyes, blazingly bright smile. She looked like a walking toothpaste commercial. We're pumped about Mr. Lemoncello, said Miguel. And the new library, said Andrew. And, said Kyle melodramatically, just seeing you, Haley. You are so immature. Come on, girls. Haley and her friends flounced away to the cool kids table. Check it out, said Akemi, gesturing toward the cafeteria's food line, where Charles Chiltington was balancing 2 trays, his own and one for Mrs. Cameron. I'm so glad you have lunchroom duty today, Mrs. Cameron, Kyle heard Chiltington say. If you don't mind, I have a few questions about how conventions within genres such as poetry, drama, or essays, can affect meaning. Well, Charles, I'd be happy to discuss that with you. Thank you, Mrs. Cameron, and may I say that sweater certainly complements your eye color. What a suck-up, mumbled Akimi. Chiltington's trying to use his weaselly charm to make sure Mrs. C sends his essay up the line to Mr. Lemoncello. Don't worry, said Kyle. Mrs. Cameron isn't the final judge. Mr. Lemoncello is. And since he's a genius, he will definitely pick the essays you guys all wrote. Undoubtedly, said Peckelman. Thanks, Kyle, said Miguel. I just wish you could win with us, said Akimi. Well, maybe I can. Like you said, this is just a move back 3 spaces card. I take a walk on the boardwalk when someone else owns it. It's a shoot in Chutes and Ladders. A detour to the molasses swamp in Candyland. Yo, Kyle, said Miguel, exactly how many board games have you played? Enough to know that you don't ever quit until somebody else actually wins. He picked up his lunch and headed for the dirty tray window. Akimi called after him. Where are you going? I have the rest of lunch and all of study hall to work on a new essay. But Mrs. Cameron won't take it. Maybe, but I've got to roll the dice one more time. Maybe I'll get lucky. I hope so, said Akimi. Me too. See you guys on the bus. That's the end of chapter 5. Here is chapter 6. Working on his library essay like he'd never worked on any essay in his whole essay writing life, Kyle crafted a killer thesis sentence that compared libraries to his favorite games. Using a library can make learning about anything and everything fun, he wrote. When you're in a library researching a topic, you're on a scavenger hunt, looking for clues and prizes in books instead of your attic or backyard. He put in points and subpoints. He wrapped everything up with a tidy conclusion. He even checked his spelling twice. But Akimi had been right. I'm sorry, Kyle, Mrs. Cameron said when he handed her his new paper at the end of the day. This is very good, and I am impressed by your extra effort. However, the deadline was this morning. Rules are rules, the same as they are in all the board games you mentioned in your essay. She'd basically handed Kyle a Go Back 500 Spaces card. But Kyle refused to give up. He remembered how his mother had written to Mr. Lemoncello's Imagination Factory when he and his brothers needed a fresh set of clue cards for the indoor-outdoor scavenger hunt. Maybe he could send his essay directly to Mr. Lemoncello via email. Maybe, if the game maker wasn't judging the essays until later that night, Kyle still had a shot. A long shot, but hey, sometimes the long ones were the only shots you got. The second he hit home, he sat down at his mother's kitchen computer. He attached his essay file to a high-priority email address to Mr. Lemoncello at the Imagination Factory. What are you doing, Kyle? His mom asked when she came into the room and found him typing on her computer. Some extra credit homework. Extra credit? School's out at the end of the week. So, you're not playing my Diner Dash game, are you? No, Mom, it's an essay about Mr. Lemoncello's amazing new library downtown. Oh, sounds interesting. I heard on the radio that there's going to be a gala grand opening reception this Friday night at the Parker House Hotel, right across the street from the old bank building. I mean, the new library. Cal typed in a PS to his email. I hope at the party on Friday you have balloons. He hit send. Who did you send your essay to? His mother asked. Your teacher? No, Mr. Lemoncello himself. It took some digging, but I found his email address on his game company's website. Really? I'm impressed. His mom rubbed his hair. You know, this morning I said to your dad, Kyle can be just as smart as Curtis and just as focused as Mike. When he puts his mind to it. Kyle smiled. Thanks, Mom. But his smile quickly disappeared when a bong alerted him to an incoming email. from Mr. Lemoncello. It was an auto-response form letter. Dear Lemoncello game lover, this is a no-reply mailbox. Your message did not go through. Do not try to resend it, or you'll just hear another bong. But thank you for playing our games. And that's the end of chapter 6. So tomorrow, we'll read chapter 7 and 8. Goodbye.